So Starfield has been getting quite a lot of fully custom mods, so in this video I want to go over 5 Halo mods that are completely custom and overhaul the base textures, assets, or sound effects of Starfield. So first off, we have one of the best looking armor replacement mods for Starfield, and this is the Mjolnir Mark V. And this is pretty much the base Halo armor you'll be used to seeing for basically any of the Halo games. If you've ever played any Halo or even seen any of the Spartans from Halo, you'll notice this armor right away, and it looks really good in game. In fact, I think fidelity wise, I don't think this is too far off of how this armor actually looks in Halo Infinite, so it looks really good and it fits in surprisingly well within Starfield. And this is a replacement for the Mantis spacesuit pieces, so if you already have a mod that replaces the Mantis suits, this will override that. And this does also come in a bunch of different colors that you can choose between. So you have blue, green, gray, pink, red, and white. So you do have a bunch of different colors you get to choose from. And there are a couple other mods that also have different recolors of this mod, so you can go download those as well. One of the ones I've seen mixes a bunch of different colors on the same armor piece. So you do have some additional options from other mods as well. And then next up, we have some Halo weapon mods, starting off with the Halo Reach DMR. And this is a replacement for the hard target. And what's pretty nice about that is that the hard target is actually a really strong weapon in Starfield, so you're actually able to use this if you're on a much higher level character facing much higher level enemies, because a bunch of the weapons in Starfield get pretty weak later on into the game, and if you have a mod replacement for one of those weapons, it'll feel pretty weak, but this thing feels incredibly strong for any point within Starfield. And this weapon looks really good, the model is of a pretty high quality, and it also comes with its own sound effects. And I think Halo weapons in general have some pretty meaty sound effects that are very recognizable, so you're going to get that really nice sound effect, and you're going to get a pretty high quality model to go along with your new Spartan armor suit. And then next up for weapons, we have the Halo AR, which is a replacement for the Tombstone. And again, like with all these other mods, this is a pretty high quality model, but like with a lot of the other weapon mods right now, since they're just replacing other weapons and they're still keeping like reload animations and stuff like that, some of these weapons can be a little bit wonky just based on how they reload and trying to get certain attachments on them. But if you're just using the base version of this, it works pretty well. The reload isn't too terrible, and overall the weapon model is pretty good, and it also comes with that base AR scope from Halo as well. And the Tombstone is a decently strong weapon in Starfield, so if you just want to download this and use it for an entire playthrough, you should be able to do that pretty easily. And something else that's really nice about the two weapons we've already gone over and the other weapons we're going to go over in this video is that they all replace different weapons. So you can go download all of these, download your Mjolnir Mark V, and you can go use all these weapons at the same time. Say if you want to go through a full playthrough and just use these different Halo weapons, you can easily do that and have a good variety of different weapons to use, some of them with their own sound effects. And then next up, we have the Halo Magnum, which is the Ion pistol replacer. Like all these other mods, it is instantly recognizable as the Halo Magnum. It's going to fit in really well with all these other weapons and the Spartan armor, but there may be an issue with this since it is replacing the Eon, which generally gets weaker as you go through Starfield. So if you want to do a full playthrough, this may be the weapon that you want to use less and less as you get into the higher levels, especially if you're playing on higher difficulty. Now this mod does work with the Eon pistol's attachments, but those attachments aren't changed at all, so it's just the normal Eon pistol attachments, so it does look a bit weird. But if you still want to have the Magnum and make it stronger with attachments, you could do that and may just look a little bit more weird. And then finally, we have one last weapon that works surprisingly well, and this is the Energy Sword. And this replaces the Barrow Knife, which is one of the melee weapons that I don't think a lot of people would probably normally be using, so that's also a little bit of a plus. But this weapon does look pretty good. It's obviously a very recognizable weapon, and surprisingly, the Barrow Knife animations kind of work decently well with this, at least in first person. In third person, it does look a little bit weird, but in first person, it actually looks pretty decent, because keep in mind, this early on in mod making for Starfield, without the creation engine being released, there's only so much these modders can do. So basically they just use a model from somewhere else or make their own model, and then they replace an already existing weapon or armor set in the game, but it's still going to be using those animations from the weapon that they replaced it from. But I think this one actually works decently well for an energy sword. But that's the 5 Halo mods I want to go over in this video, and I'm pretty surprised at how high quality some of these mods that are full model replacements have been, especially with the Mjolnir Mark V. It is pretty incredible how good this looks. Like I mentioned, it's of a similar quality to the actual armor pieces in Halo Infinite, so it looks really good. And these mods being this good without the creation engine being released is pretty impressive in my opinion. So if you want to go through and do a full Halo playthrough where you're in your armor the whole time and you're only using Halo weapons, you could pretty easily do that with these mods. But that's all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.